Hey YouTubers, Raven here.
Starfire.
Today we'll be talking about the Flash character Barry Allen.
Yay!
So we'll be talking about the Flash himself.
Yes.
So
we started with the females, but
yeah,
now we're starting the males.
Yeah, there were only two.
We have to talk about the main male character, Barry Allen.
Exactly. Like, who else would we talk about?
Exactly.
So, your take on the beginning of it?
Well, I really liked the pilot. I liked how it started. Okay. I liked that I like that he does a voiceover every episode.
That's nice. It's a lot like Arrow that way.
I think that's really creative.
Yeah.
That they're like, the first thing that he says is, I want you to, or I need you to do something for me. I need you to believe in the impossible. And you do that? Good. And he's like, that's me. And he's like, moving
that's
around the city.
And me again. Look, there I am. There I am. Wait, there I am. There's me again. I get it.
Yeah.
You're the yellow streak.
I just think they set up everything well. I like that they had the flashbacks and showing him, with his parents when he was little, and why he's determined to, once he becomes the Flash, why he's determined to, do what he does and help everyone. Because he wants to find who killed his mom.
Yeah.
And I just really like the way the characters played. I think that even though he doesn't necessarily look like somebody that would be a superhero,
yeah,
he still brings the good stuff to the character.
Yeah.
And the heart.
I do think he kind of needs to bulk out a bit, though.
Yeah, he does a little bit.
He needs to be not just rely on the sonic boom punch. Sonic boom punch, baby.
I don't think that he's just gonna rely on that. I think as the season goes on, that
he needs to train more with Eddie.
I think that's actually gonna be kind of awkward now that he's told Iris how he feels.
Yeah, but still.
And him and Eddie were never really friends anyway. So
no, that's true.
It would be kind of still. I mean, Barry was even acting weird about it when Eddie was first teaching him. He's like you want to work out with me? Like, this is weird. So, yeah. I mean, I think as the season goes on, he's gonna get faster. He's probably gonna get stronger. I mean, if they introduce the sonic boom in like the 6th episode, he can obviously do more than that later on, and he'll get stronger.
Yeah.
So I think that we'll see that eventually. Yeah.
I liked the first episode when he's trying to admit how he feels to Iris.
Let's just talk about Iris and Barry and their relationships. Okay.
Phone was calling.
Oh.
Go ahead, answer it. Go. And so
hello.
We have Iris and Barry, and they grew up as friends.
I'll be home in a little bit.
But he's always had a crush on her. That's so sweet. Like, seriously. He had a crush on her before. I was in love with you before I knew what love was. Oh my gosh. Oh. Feels. All the feels in the world. And then you had the part where he was telling her, trying to tell her, like, in the first episode when he was trying to tell her, like, how he felt, but she wouldn't.
In the first episode when he's like, she asked him about his trip to Starling City, and when he came back and he was like, I've been thinking a lot about relationships, and he's like, I'm not in one, and you're not in one, and he was kind of trying...
I'm not in one, and you're not either.
Yeah, and he was trying to kind of segue into telling her that, and And she just stopped him.
Yeah, but you could totally tell.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could see it too.
She's like, I know what you're going to say, Barry. And he's like, I don't think that you do.
I think he could see that she knew, but he was in denial.
Yeah. And we're kind of in the minority with that, because a lot of people think that she didn't know, that, like, she just totally, you know, did not know that. And, like, yeah, she had feelings in the past, but she just kind of pushed it all aside and, you know, was in denial about it, too. And I'm just like, well, you can't tell me that when he comes into Jitters after he wakes up that that's not seriously, like, one of the most beautiful scenes you've ever seen in your freaking life. Okay.
Still to this day, it's the best scene between them.
And you want to know a little fun fact?
Except
that was
for the
very first scene that they filmed for the pilot. That Grant and Candace filmed for the pilot. That was the very first scene. So people that say they don't have any chemistry, yeah.
Right.
Because that was the first scene that they filmed together.
And that, besides the whole love admittance speech, that was the best scene,
it was.
like, ever between them.
I mean, that's still one of my favorites. Like, I loved all of their moments in the pilot, but for me, that was the moment where I was just kind of like, okay, I really like them.
Mm.
So.
I was just like, hey, Cyrus, I know who he's getting with.
Yeah.
Because I follow a lot of superhero stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, before the movies started coming out.
But every time somebody says that they love that scene in the pilot, Candace Patton will always, like, reply to them on Twitter, and she's like, I loved that scene. And she's like, fun fact, that was the first scene that we filmed in the pilot. So, yeah. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Nice.
But yeah, I really think that she knew, but she just wasn't ready for it at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, after, when he was in the coma for 9 months, she thought she was going to lose him, so she got with somebody else.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I mean, people can argue what they want, but, like, she even told Eddie, she's like, before, you know, my life was full. My dad and Barry, like, were all I needed. And so once she didn't know if Barry was going to come back or not, she kind of, you know.
Yep.
So
there's that, and there's the fact that I'm really tired, so I'm trying to come up with stuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's been a crazy, like, last, like, few days for me, so, and her, but,
so, there was a lot of moments between them, but we mostly covered that in the Iris.
We did.
Episode.
We covered that, but we covered her side of it. We didn't really cover his side of it.
But we covered both sides.
We did. Yeah. And, I just love to talk about them, so.
Yeah, but there's so much more besides just them.
I know.
There's his relationship with Joe.
Which I love.
His relationship with Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
Relationship with Caitlin, with
Wells
and Cisco. And Oliver and Felicity.
Yeah.
And Diggle to an extent.
To an extent. He was
That's
only
not
on the one
creepy
episode.
to you?
He was only on the one episode.
I know.
But yeah, like, I really love his relationship. Oh, and his father.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the relationship with Joe, because even though he's not his actual dad, he still was like a father to him.
Yeah.
Because he took him in when, you know, his dad.
He was like 8 or 9.
When he was 11.
Oh, whatever. I make the mistake every time we talk about it.
Because he's supposed to be 25 in the present day, and it was 14 years. So he was 11.
Okay, you do the math, and I'll just say her and not do
Anyway, he moved in with them when he was 11, and he was with them until, you know, I don't know, maybe a few years ago, until he went to college, whatever. But
until
anyway,
he went away to college.
Yeah. And So I really like how their relationship has kind of evolved through the episodes, even though we've only had 9. Like, at first, and I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd episode where he got all mad at Joe, and he's like, yeah, you're not my father. And then he was like, at the end of it, Joe came into the lab, and he was like, I know I'm not your father. And he's like, you're right, you're not. But you are the person who did this for me.
No,
and this
he's
for
like,
me.
You're right, you're not. You're my dad.
Yeah.
There's a difference between fathers and dads, and I think Raven kind of put it best in Teen Titans. In The End, Part 3, she goes, you may have been my father, but you may have given me life type thing, but you were not my father. So it's saying you're not my dad. Fathers raise you, they care for you, they look out for you, they're friends with you, they do all this. And she's like, you didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Barry and his father had a relationship before he went into prison.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Joe took over and he became the dad.
Yeah.
So now...
And I mean, he knew Joe. Like, he knew Joe and Iris when he was little, obviously, because he had a crush on her before he moved in.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I think his dad trusted Joe to take care of Barry for him.
Yeah. I mean, like, there'll always be a place in Barry's heart for his father, but the one that he looks back on and has all those fond memories of
is Joe.
It's his dad.
Because whenever when he had that flashback in the 6th episode where he was teaching him how to fight, and he was like, just
sometimes it's good to run away.
Sometimes it's just good to run away, and he's like, when you come up against someone you can't beat, it's okay,
It's okay to run away.
Yeah. And so I like that, when he thinks back, those are usually the memories he has. But when they also show him young, it's the ones with his dad and his mom too. So
yeah, but it's only that one night that we ever see. We don't see
the
times before his mom died.
All the other stuff, like when he's playing or when he's doing other things, it's always with Joe and Iris.
So that kind of speaks volumes about how he perceives things. I mean, he'll always love his father and want his dad to be out.
And I mean, I love the scenes that he has with his dad when he goes to talk to him. Those
you cry
are
almost
really
every
great
time.
scenes. Yes, you do.
I don't. She does.
Hey, I didn't cry when we watched the mid-season finale together and I got to that scene.
That's because you knew I was sitting there just looking at you.
I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. Yeah. It was really hard not to.
Okay. Sure.
Shut up.
I am heartless.
You're not heartless, okay?
Totally,
just certain things don't make you cry. And that's okay. I'm not judging you for it. Just don't judge me for the fact that I do cry.
You cry. Nye.
Hey, I didn't cry when he made his confession. Other people did, okay?
I was surprised you didn't.
I was mostly in shock. I didn't cry. I was just freaking out.
We totally fangirled.
We did.
It was like...
My mom was laughing at us.
And her dad was like, what the crap is going on? And her dad's the one that understands.
I know, right?
And her mom's always like, what's going on?
And you went like this.
Yeah.
My mom was laughing.
We freaked out.
We did. But yeah.
We had to rewatch it to hear what he actually said.
I rewatched that many, many, many times after that.
And she had a final the next day.
Yes, I did. But I don't care. I still passed. Anyways. Yeah, I always like when he has the scenes with Joe and when he has the scenes with his dad. because Jesse L. Martin is a great actor, and so like he really can kind of go to that place emotionally too, and so they're really, really usually good scenes and stuff as well. And I loved in the mid-season finale when he was like, "The world may need the Flash, but I need my Barry Allen," and I'm just like, oh, feels.
Yeah.
That was really sweet.
It was. So, let's see, Barry and Caitlin.
Okay. Well, I like that in the pilot, he was the first to kind of recognize that she was down and she wasn't smiling, and he's like, you should smile more and stuff. And
then he finds out why she's not.
Yeah, I mean, I like that they kind of had that connection at first. I think that was nice. I mean, he's just a nice guy. Barry's just a nice person. So he wants to help people no matter what, and he's a good friend and everything. And so he cared about Caitlin even though he didn't really know her that well. And so I think
she helped save his life. So
yeah, she did.
That was a big factor.
And yeah, and then when he found out why they bonded because they had both lost somebody that was close to them and that they loved. And so they bonded in that way.
They both had life-altering things happen to them.
And I think that
because of the particle accelerator explosion.
And I think that they have a really nice relationship, friendship.
Yes,
a strong friendship.
Emphasis on the word friend. Okay.
Yes. Because you can have a special bond with someone like that and not like love them in that way. Like you can be just have a really, really close friend that you connect with that way. And there's nothing romantic about it.
Right. I mean, sometimes you could have those moments that could be confused for romance.
Yeah.
And then things will get really confusing between them.
Yeah.
But then it's like,
but because
you'll eventually realize, oh, we're just friends.
Yeah, but because they both love other people.
Yeah, it's not going to be an issue.
There's nothing that's going on right now in that way, at least to us. So.
No, there's nothing going on in that way.
No, there isn't.
Not just to us. I mean, she's all over Ronnie since he's back. And he just finally freaking admitted how he felt to Iris about her. So, there's nothing between them in that way.
And hey, Caitlin and everybody else supports him and Iris, okay? Everybody else saw it. You can see that, man. His dad even was like, you don't know how, or he's like, you're my son. You don't think I know how you love her? I'm just like, oh my gosh.
I'm like, how many times did he visit you with her?
Well, he probably knew when he was young.
Yeah.
But, and of course Joe, like, basically gave him his blessing. And, you know, Caitlin's always like, oh, are you going to go visit her as the Flash and all that? So, you know.
Nighttime rendezvous for the Flash. Yes.
So.
And Barry and Cisco. I feel like I'm saying a food.
I think they kind of have an interesting relationship. We haven't seen a whole lot of depth to their characters, like, together yet as friends, but we have seen some nice moments.
Yeah, his nerdy moments with Barry.
Yeah, I like Cisco because he's a fun guy. Like, he's always, you know, joking around and talking about the science stuff and
giving nicknames.
Yeah, giving nicknames, and he always gets super excited about those types of things when they're watching Barry go save someone or whatever. And so I think that I think we're gonna kind of start to see more scenes with them. As the season
especially
goes
since
on.
He's trying to run faster.
Yeah.
In the
and
next
because
half.
he's supposed to have like a few different suits too.
In the next half.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a lot more correlation. They're going to have a lot more screen time together. Especially because he kind of runs the cosmic treadmill, which is what I am calling it. That treadmill is so.
I think everybody's calling it the cosmic treadmill.
Yeah. Okay. And then the people who don't know what the cosmic treadmill is just calling it cosmic treadmill because everybody else is.
Yeah.
You should look it up.
I mean, in that Stream.TV Flash thing after show.
Yeah.
Devon
It's
calls
on
it the
YouTube.
Cosmic Treadmill too. Even
Yeah.
if it's not called that, that's what he's calling it too.
Yeah.
And he's like the Flash aficionado, so yeah.
He's like one of the most ultimate Flash fans.
I mean, he always wears his Flash baseball cap whenever they do
And
the after
his
show.
little wrist thing for
Yeah.
the Flash, and his Flash.
Shout out to you, man!
Right, his Flash Converse.
Really?
Yeah, he's usually wearing his Converse Flash.
Cool.
He's got Flash shoes.
Awesome. Tell me where you can get that stuff, because, man, I'd like
Special
to
order it. Go to a comic book store and maybe you might find one. If you go to the
Maybe.
right one. I don't know. Didn't see any at the one we went to.
No, we didn't. It was just
Yeah.
books and comic books and all that stuff. But it was a cool store.
It was. Didn't get any Flash comics, but I did buy my first 2 comics ever.
She did. It was awesome.
It was. So, saying that is obvious that I don't read comics, but I look everything up a lot, and I watch the comic stuff,
So, yeah, I think that...
so I know a lot about the Flash.
I'm actually excited to see more stuff with him and Cisco.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And, yeah, there's probably going to be some serious moments.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that overall, like, they have fun together.
Yeah.
So.
I think he's just gonna be the fun character.
Yeah. Everybody likes Cisco. Like, I haven't seen
you need
any...
a comic relief in everything.
You do. And, I mean, I haven't really seen any hate for him at all.
Yeah.
I mean, there's hate for, like, other characters, but there isn't for Cisco.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people just enjoy him.
Yeah.
They just enjoy the character.
He's so childlike.
He is, yeah.
Fun.
Like, he's one of those people that's always getting excited about a new toy that he has to play with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he's designing these things, and he's like, ooh, boomerang! And he's all throwing it around the Star Labs, and it goes into the wall, and Kane's like, ah!
Yeah.
And he's like, my bad. So, yeah, he's like a kid that's fascinated by a new toy,
Yeah.
basically.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Whether or not there's actually a new toy around. Math makes him that way.
Well, apparently he works at Star Labs. He has to know
He's
stuff about math.
He's arguing with Caitlin about how many bugs gets in Barry's teeth. How many bugs he eats per like minute as he's running. And I'm just like, why? I don't want to hear that. I don't want to think that he's like, when he's grinning,
Excuse me.
it's just like the car grill just covered in... How does he keep his teeth white while he's running? He's gonna be the superhero with the nasty gnat teeth.
Or maybe he just doesn't swallow all those bugs and he's just saying that.
Yeah, but like, he smiles because like he likes running, so he's like, ha ha. And then it's like, yeah, bugs. That's a lot of flossing.
He can do it really fast.
He can. Probably break the floss or make his gums bleed. But hey, if you can do it.
I loved watching when he got ready that morning and he got ready in like 10 seconds.
Yeah. That was on the crossover.
Yes.
When Diggle was asking Oliver if he thought that he did everything fast, like go to the bathroom.
No, that was when Wells was talking to the computer.
Mm-mm.
That was?
No.
Wasn't it?
No.
Oh.
Diggle asked Oliver if he thought that Barry could do everything fast, like go to the bathroom. And Oliver just said something like, who knows, we're on a mission, shut up. And then it flashes over to him on a normal morning getting ready.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Because I thought it was like episode 7 where he was like walking in the morning and he was like, Wells was talking about how he's like becoming kind of a show off and like using his abilities and stuff like that. And then like they show him and he's like, I'm late, and he gets up and he's like getting ready really fast.
Well, that could have been it, but I think it was sworn.
No, because when Diggle's mentioning that to Oliver, like they don't have a flashback.
They don't.
No, he just mentions that.
I could have sworn that happened, but whatever.
It was the episode before that.
Okay, maybe that's why I'm getting confused.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, I think we kind of covered everything.
Unless you want to talk about his relationship with Eddie.
I don't think there's much of one to talk about.
And Wells.
Right, Wells.
Well,
that's a big pot of crap that we'll get into later.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to just touch on it a little bit, though, because, okay, he considers Wells his mentor.
Yeah.
He, in the first episode, he was
looked up
so excited to go to Star Labs.
And he wanted to meet
Wells. He wanted to meet Wells, like, so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, so he really looks up to him. And I think as it's going on, he's starting to realize that
Wells isn't exactly the idol he should be.
Yeah, he's not really the person that he thought he was, and he can't really trust him that much.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see that definitely a lot more in the last half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Because now that we know the stuff that we know about Wells, I think that, you know, Barry's going to start to be like, okay, you know, this guy's kind of shady. I don't know what's going on. And
maybe. I mean,
maybe.
Wells isn't all that shady around them.
No.
Like, you don't really know what he's up to until, like, the last 2 minutes of the episode.
But in the one where he loses his powers, Barry, he basically called him out and he was like, you're just using us for your own purposes, your own
devices. That was when that was when he lost his powers.
And so he kind of, I think he's kind of starting to be like, I like him, but he's like, I don't know how I feel about what he's doing.
How he does it, you mean?
And how he does it.
I think he's okay with what he's doing. He's just not okay with how
he's not okay with how he's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
How he's trying to do it.
Yeah. There's always another way out there, and, well, there's a better way when you're talking about Wells. There's always a better way.
And I mean, Barry, you know, because he kept saying, oh, you know, you can help us find cures for all these things. And it's like, that's all well and good and nice and stuff. But what about the people that need help?
Mm-hmm.
What about people that are in burning buildings or people that are being attacked by someone or whatever? He has to, like, save those people, too.
If you have the ability to help someone...
Yeah, then use it.
Do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't, you'll always be questioning yourself later. You'll, like, eventually one day it'll catch up with you.
Yeah, and I mean, by coming up with cures for those things, that's helping people too.
Mm-hmm.
But that's more of a long-term process.
Yeah.
Whereas if somebody's like needs help right away, he can do that because of his abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the difference.
Yeah. The fastest man alive is about to get faster, and I cannot wait to see that.
Yeah, me either.
So
2 more weeks. 2 weeks from tomorrow is when it comes back. So yay!
So is there anything?
I don't think so.
Okay. Who are we talking about next week?
I think we're talking about Joe.
Is it Joe?
I think so. Yes, it's Joe.
Okay, so catch us next Monday for Joe.
Joe West.
Yeah. So until next time, keep believing in the impossible.